welcome to the NFL Injury Report for Week 16 at the end of Week 15 here. I'm Big Italy 42, talking about some key injuries courtesy of Zach Scott Moxie on Twitter. And first off, Marcus Mariota with a knee injury. It was his opposite knee, which is the good news for the Titans. Left early in the second quarter and was ruled out for the game. Obviously, Titans not taking any chances with their franchise player moving forward in a game that they already were behind, I believe, by 2 touchdowns at the time. So they're going to be playing it safe there. 2 games left. It's possible he doesn't play again the rest of the season, which would mean Zach Mettenberger going to draw the start for the final 2 games here. And Mettenberger has had some flashes where he's looked like a competent quarterback. Looked fine this week. 242 yards and 2 touchdown passes after Mariota left the game. Bad news is that he gets the Texans and J.J. Watt this week. Huge game for the Texans. Obviously, meaningless game aside from draft position for the Titans. So not a good ideal situation for him. And he has faced them twice, has not thrown for over 200 yards in either game, has 1 touchdown and 2 picks in there. And Zach mentions he'll be avoiding him, and I certainly will be as well. LaShawn McCoy is an MCL sprain, another injury. It's unfortunate for him, and he's a guy who has been looking really good for the Bills. They are officially eliminated from playoffs now. So 37 yards and 11 touches in that game before he left with an injury. Seems to be like a minor injury, but he will probably miss next week. May end up missing the final 2 games. Carlos Williams could pick up some big bulk of some carries and had 4 carries for 41 yards. Finally getting back on the field after he was dealing with injury, and he's been good when he's been the guy, and he's certainly one to keep on your radar. Cowboys, not a great run defense, allowing the 5th most fantasy points per game, just over 24. 2nd most rushing touchdowns at 14, and you got to imagine Carlos Williams, very cheap on both sides, going to be a popular play and for very good reason. A.J. Green, back injury, tweaked it in practice on Saturday, said early, right before the game, Bengals listed him as questionable. Doesn't look like it's a big deal. Caught 1 long pass. Bengals sat him out after they jumped out to a big lead against the 49ers. Certainly going to need him next week against the Denver Broncos. We saw Antonio Brown have a huge game against them this week. Obviously, the Bengals are going to need a big game from everyone that they can in that game. It's going to mean a lot. Not a lock, but if the Bengals do win that game, they will get the number 2 seed. If the Broncos win, they'll take the tiebreaker and not quite lock it up, but certainly could. So huge things riding on that next week, especially as the Bengals hope to get Andy Dalton back soon. All the time they can get a bye week would certainly be a welcome sight for them. So A.J. Green, not a guy that you're expecting a lot out of this week, but certainly a nice contrarian play if you wanted to take that shot. Danny Amendola with a knee injury, once again, got hurt, and it doesn't look like it's a serious one. He did come out warm up for the second half, but did not come back. Remains to be seen if he's going to sit out, but if he does, it would be, as Zach said, the 6th straight week where they've lost a skill player for the following week. So good news for them is Edelman may be back next week, maybe on a snap count. But either way, team facing off against the Jets. The Patriots have officially locked up a bye, have not locked up the number 1 seed yet, but certainly a win against the Jets would all but clinch that for them as well. Next up, Alshon Jeffrey, a hamstring injury. Once again, left with that, and he's been great when he's been healthy. Bears, another team, was officially eliminated now. So 1 catch for 10 yards against the Vikings, but the 1 catch was for a score, so it wasn't the end of the world. Jeffrey owner still got that touchdown there. If you can't play next week against a Tampa Bay secondary that's not very good, allowing 28 touchdown passes, Eddie Worrell going to get bigger targets. He's also struggled to stay healthy, but even when he's been on the field, he has not produced at a high level. Certainly going to be a guy that's going to see volume by default for Jay Cutler. Certainly a guy you want to consider at his price, but just know that he, even in this situation, may still have a low floor. TJ Yates tore his ACL, and already Brian Hoyer was out with an injury. Then they lose him. Then you end up with Brandon Weeden under center, and they did get the win, and it's possible that Brian Hoyer is cleared for this following week against the Titans. If not, Brandon Weeden's going to be the guy to step in, and it's going to be a must-win situation still for the Texans coming off that huge win against Indianapolis. First time they've ever won in Indianapolis, and it will certainly be a nice spot for Hoyer if he plays. If not, it's the Brandon Whedon show, and the Brandon Whedon show is not one that I'm a big fan of, and Zach certainly agrees here in his article. So, good situation to avoid if Hoyer sits once again. That'll wrap things up here for us for the injury report. Find us on Twitter at DFCafe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out the rest of our great content at dailyfantasycafe.com.